Check, check, 1, 2. Check, check, 1, 2. Hello. Hello, comrades, and welcome to another episode of Under Construction. I'm your host, Ellis, otherwise known as the Admiral. Give me just a second to get everything squared away, and then we will do the pre-show, and then we will do the show. Route building stream live now. There we go. There we go. And I need to remember to hit enter on that when we actually get started. Alright, looks like the stream is up. Looks like everybody's... well, not everybody's awake. I'm awake. Just barely. Hanging in there. And last time, we broke a record. So we'll see if we can do that again. I wouldn't bet on it, but you can bet on anything these days. Oh, okay, and I just got some sort of weather alert, I take it. Wonder if it's going to rain. Wouldn't be convenient. I opened a bunch of windows because it was really stuffy in here. It is still very stuffy in here. To the point where I am really feeling like I should grab a fan to point at me right now, because I am cooking for absolutely no reason. There's no reason for me to need to endure the heat that I am enduring right now. It's not even that hot outside. Uh-oh. Oh, we've caused a tremendous collapse. Alright, maybe this is not going to go as well as last week. I also need to stop hitting buttons when it's spawning a new one, but the issue is I want to, a lot of the time, spin something into its final landing place, so sort of like a T-spin, but not quite. Anyway, let's get that in there. Let's get this in here. Oh, shoot. Okay, this is going to become a problem, unless I can... Oh, look at that! What was I just saying? There's our T-spin. We've knocked out one layer. One line. Okay, we're about to do 3 and 4. Okay. This goes here. And if I can pay attention to the order of which, the order in which stuff is coming towards me, then maybe I can manage to be successful in not Tetris. Oh. Nicked the edge. Still, though, not bad. Not bad. We're going to do all right. We're going to do A-okay. We're going to do this. Nope. We're going to do that. You know what? I should not have put that there. I don't know why my brain was like, yeah, no, right there's a good spot. I don't know what compelled me. The power of Christ. Okay, there we go. There we go. Recently saw The Conjuring for the first time. Speaking of the power of Christ compels you. I know that's not a Conjuring thing, but it's a horror movie thing, right? Hello, Douglas Welsh. I was not really impressed. I mean, I feel like my opinion of the movie is tempered by the fact that the house was owned by, like, someone who was seriously off their rocker. And that's a local thing for us, too. The Conjuring takes place in Burrowville, which is, like, way up in the corner of Rhode Island where nobody goes. I went to see a film screening there. Yes, this is what I meant by starting soon. I went to see a film screening at a little auditorium up there, and I'm driving, and like 45 minutes into this drive, which will effectively take you across the entire state, I was seriously thinking, like, we're still in Rhode Island? How is that even possible? Okay, we're getting less than 1,000 points. Alright, what a disaster. We're on to actually building the route. U.S. soldiers get the best of everything, maybe suggest Burma shave. I'm actually starting here because I think, because looking in this direction, the scenery is fairly comprehensive and you can actually see the town, the city extend into the distance, which is great. I honestly am super happy about the fact that this extends far enough that we can look out this way. And we can see a church steeple. We can see sort of the hills a little bit. We can see what I assume are a pair of smokestacks over there. Yeah, they're from this. Good evening, Orion. Yeah, so this is like, we're doing good. We're doing good. I'm happy with this. And I used this block previously, right? Or this is this multiple buildings? I think this is multiple buildings. It just looks like it's, yeah, it looks like it's one of those pre-made blocks, like those. But I definitely made this out of buildings. Yeah. See, that's how spot on I am. I can make something look like a crappy pre-made block easily. Um, oh shoot, I just got a ping, which is a great idea, genuinely. Um, okay, but it's not related to this, so unfortunately, I'm not going to bring it up unless that person jumps into the stream chat here and is like, "Hey, did you see what I said?" Um, I'm noticing that this is kind of at an angle, so I should probably fix that in 2.0. Won't be here long. I've been up for 24 hours and just ran out of caffeine. Yeah, go get some rest. Uh, that's not a great situation to be in. I've never been a caffeine fan. I've never been somebody who drinks coffee or tea or energy drinks or anything like that. Uh, but I've certainly been a tired human being, so I get it. You know. Uh, Although I was hanging out with a mutual friend. Oh shoot, this needs to get out of the way for a minute. Hanging out with a mutual friend yesterday, and she was like, "Oh, this is like my third monster of the day," and I was like, I bet that will not have any long-term effects. And we went back and forth a little bit, and eventually I was just like, "Listen, I might be wrong, but we'll see who goes to whose funeral." I think you have too many energy drinks, your heart is just like gonna explode out of your chest at some point, like a chest burster. Um, there are things, and I know a lot of. I'm not certain, but I understand that a lot of energy drinks is just a lot of caffeine, right? Um, and I maybe don't have like the proper chemistry to utilize caffeine. I don't know if I have the right brain chemistry for that. One energy drink a month. Hey, I have one soda a week. We're kind of doing the same thing. Um, but like, and I'm sure that we would have figured out by now if that was a serious problem, right? Like like if caffeine was going to be dropping people left and right, I think we would have figured that one out. Because caffeine's been around for a real long time, and people drink an awful lot of it. So I don't think that that's going to kill anybody necessarily, but I do think that there are things in the whoops, I didn't mean to do that. There are things in the world that we do not understand the severity of them yet. There are things in the world that we do not understand the significance that they will have, and like microplastics is one of them, right? Like we're starting to understand microplastics and how they are everywhere and how they are detrimental and how like you know they're they're gonna potentially lead to long-term problems. But I'm not sure if energy drinks are going to be one of them, but I wouldn't be surprised. That's what I'm saying. Uh, Folk gorge themselves. Well, yeah, it's not the caffeine; it's the quantity of caffeine, right? Like everything in moderation uh, is a good. It's a good saying to live by. Everything in moderation, because sometimes moderation doesn't necessarily mean like once a month. It just means like not four of them back to back, whatever them is. Like I love cake, but I shouldn't eat it every single day. Like, yes, I am an adult. I'm no longer subject to the whims of adults that are like, you need to eat your veggies. But I understand that I should probably eat my veggies more than I eat a slice of chocolate layer cake. It's not good for me. So, everything in moderation. Sometimes moderation means not at all, but, like, it's the baseline, right? Okay. Exactly why microplastics, not major plastics. I mean, I think the word you're looking for is macroplastics, which sounds even worse. But major plastics. Uh, Major plastics sounds like a character that would be on, like, MASH. You know? Um, right up there with Major Pain and and you know, Colonel Mustard. I don't know. Okay, I want to put maybe a driveway in here, which is why I'm looking at this like this. 50-50 shot, replace with selected asset. Hey, there we go. Alright, I've got a lot more sidewalk and stuff to do, but I should probably work on some suburbia sort of areas. We do have these, right? Like, I should maybe make use of these. I don't know if they are wide enough. I don't think they are. No, they are not. They're close, but they're not wide enough. I think I could do this, right? I could do this, and, oh, this is supposed to straddle a street. Oh, okay, so I should be putting this, like, here, right? I thought that was a back-to-back, like this. That's interesting. I never thought about the fact that we'd run into two different philosophies for doing these. And if I were to grab this, are there half blocks that we could use? No, it doesn't look like it. But we can use something like this, which is a double block. Nah, we just run into the same problem. I do think that is just fine. I talked about shrinking these, and I think I ought to. I mean, I think they should be like... Currently they're 350 feet. I think they should be maybe 200 feet. They're way too big. But let's see. We've got 350, 350, 350, I assume. Which brings us to 1050, right? Because 35 and 35 is 70 plus 35. Yeah, it would be 105. What's the site I use for historical images of cities? Historicaerials.com, I believe. If you Google historic aerials, it might take you right to it. Well, one of the things is I might want to break the grid, so maybe, and this is already plugged into here. I mean, if I scoot it a little bit, it's not going to be a big deal. But we go from 3 blocks that are 350 feet to, let's say, 5 blocks of 200. I want to create a volunteer group to restore and run Big Mike. Just don't know where to start, let alone volunteers. It will cost a lot of money. Well, where to start is probably who owns Big Mike, and also, importantly, what is Big Mike? I assume it's a Big Mikado. But, I mean, for all I know, it might just be some dude named Big Mike. Which, if you're going to restore Big Mike, maybe start him with, like, a gym membership, and see if he goes. So let's, what is Big Mike? Who is Big Mike? Where is Big Mike? Everyone always asks, what is Big Mike? But they never ask, how is Big Mike? I think that's the question we need to answer. Ah, man. Okay, so 200 feet. 200 feet is a much smaller block than I would have expected. 200 feet is right about there. And I have seen smaller. It's a question of, can I squeeze, let's say, 2 of these back to back. Looking at saving the Mikado with the Fort Wayne Historical Railroad Society. Or Fort Wayne Railroad Historical Society. Saving? Oh, as in they saved it, use them as an example? Because, right, they've got a Mikado, right? I assume that's what you're talking about. Okay, so 250 is not going to be enough for these kinds of blocks. So or sorry, 200 isn't going to be enough. Maybe 250 can be enough. Oh, it's at the boys. Oh, it's a Union Pacific Mikado. Oh, that thing. See that I'm surprised. Like, give it time. I bet like the people with the Challenger will pick that up. Um, they've got a Mikado, but it's still in pieces. Well, in pieces in a safe home is much better than in one piece in a field, right? Like, I would rather I would rather a Steamtown than a Fred Kepner, although that's probably a bad comparison. I would rather a what's a place that really keeps their engines in pieces, because Steamtown keeps their stuff mostly together. It just sort of sits outside. Um, I see they're making incredible progress on their Shay though, which is really exciting. Um, what's a place that keeps stuff in pieces? I can't even tell you. The WWF has stuff in pieces, but that's because they're working on it. But I guess every place is working on it. You have no operational steam locomotives in Idaho. Well, listen, I have no steam locomotives, period, in Rhode Island. So enjoy the fact that you have something, because could be a lot worse. I mean, the problem with Rhode Island, of course, is there's nothing to preserve. There are only two surviving steam locomotives that ever ran in Rhode Island pre-preservation, and uh, those are Everett 11, which is, of course, already in a wonderful home in Pennsylvania. Although I would love it back. It's a Narragansett Pier Railroad engine. It is a railroad whose legacy is extricable from that of the New Haven, which is nice. Um, but also there is my boy Daniel Nason, which is, I believe, in St. Louis, and that should come home. That should go into the Museum of Working Culture here or something, because like they don't need that engine. Like, yeah, it's an old piece, it's cool, but it was from here. It's the only railroad that, or only railroad, yeah. It's the only locomotive that survives that ran under New Haven, technically. Um, or was owned by the New Haven, I should say. It was owned by the New Haven. It didn't run for them. But other than those two, the railroading legacy of Rhode Island is not at all represented in motive power. Um, Although, I will put a big asterisk on that, because, of course, we did have the Rhode Island Rhode Island Locomotive Works, which was a branch of Alco, or became a branch of Alco. They made such wonders as CNS 60 and that Wabash Mogul that's still kicking around, as well as a bunch of elevated railway engines which are kicking around. So, you know, we've got something going for us in terms of survivors that do represent the state, but they never ran here outside from at the shop. Uh, and I would imagine the majority of them didn't go drive to their destinations, especially because a lot of them are relatively small locomotives. The Rhode Island Locomotive Works did not build humongous engines. The biggest things they built were, I think, a couple of mastodons, maybe, and a lot of Mikados. Or not Mikados. A lot of consolidations. There's a great website where the title's in all caps, and you can see all the stuff that the Rhode Island Locomotive Works built. It is pretty comprehensive and pretty cool, because it's not every locomotive works has a catalog small enough that you can look at it comprehensively. You know, you can look at all the stuff that Baldwin built, and you'll be there all day. You know, you can look at all the stuff that that Alco built, and you'll be there all day. you won't even, sort of scrape the surface. You've got a whole iceberg down there. But with a smaller locomotive works, where somebody has gone through and compiled, like, hey, this is everything that they built, uh, more or less, it's really neat to see that. I like to see that. Partially, of course, because it's my home. I go by the Rhode Island Locomotive Works on a regular basis because the buildings are still there and they've got a big old sign on the roof that says Rhode Island Locomotive Works. Or no, I believe it says Alco, but it is the Rhode Island Locomotive Works. All right, so 250 feet is going to bring us to right about here. Pretty dang close. Big Mike spent its last days moving potatoes around. Not every state needs an operational steam locomotive. I disagree. I think every state needs. If we can have like the state bird, every state should have a state steam locomotive, and it should be part of the, you know, part of like the state budget. You know, I mean, like restoring a steam locomotive is expensive, but restoring a steam locomotive when you have a state budget is like a drop in the bucket. What's up, baby?
It is time.
It's time for the soda.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this isn't a realistic suggestion, but if you were to assign steam locomotives to states, like what I know that Virginia has 611, right? And I think Virginia has 611, right? And what has Pennsylvania obviously has 1361. Are there any other like state recognized steam engines, and which ones should they be? That's a good question. That's some food for thought. So what soda do you give me, baby?
Aren't you gonna guess?
I know it's not ginger ale because those aren't in there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what all is in there. The orange.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a blue raspberry in there?
There is.
Is that what you got me?
No.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember what all's in there. It's been a while. I sifted through it. I know it's like half Mike's Hard now, the refrigerator. No, it's not the orange soda.
I'll give you a hint. It's a fruit flavored soda.
Most of them are fruit flavored.
This one's strictly labeled fruit flavored though.
Fruit flavor. Is it the strawberry?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Forgot we had the strawberry. It's not orange soda. It's red soda. Not to be confused with the Leninade. Which, yeah, these are our not sponsor. Yacht Club sodas.
Take my tax.
The baby tax, yeah. You were close. You got the right color. I'm gonna move my water that's basically empty, so I can put the soda on the coaster where it ought to go. I'm not sure what to do with this. I should extend this out to here. Why is the Big Mike so special to you? Other than the fact that it's the last steam locomotive that operated in your state, because that is plenty special. I'm certainly not going to balk at that. And what am I going to do over here? We've got this triangle. We've got this row of buildings, which is fine. We have these buildings, which honestly I don't think should be over here. I should probably put these somewhere else, because this suburbia is not... This is going to be too dense. I'm going to need the more dense stuff over here. In fact, I should probably lay up a whole bunch of three-deckers over here. So... yeah, because these would be over here in front of the thing. Although I could definitely see a run of commercial buildings here. This was going to be this is a school area. Okay. Let's swap back to Surveyor Classic and see what I can do with this, because we have this road through here, but it wouldn't just sort of randomly come in at an angle and meander to the back, or, you know, just sort of terminate here. I think I should put it like this and straighten it out up against the edge here. My grandpa always took me to visit Big Mike, Big Mike, when I was a toddler, so he watched me grow up. He saw me throughout grade school, middle school, and high school. It was something that made me happy when I was depressed. Aw. It's always nice to find meaning, you know? Sometimes you can overdo it, but it's always nice to find meaning. Same reason I always name my cars. Well, first of all, that way I know who to curse at, but, you know, something like that can become part of your life, even if it isn't an active part of your life. It's still there, and that's nice. I feel like I should put maybe a park. Well, we already have a park right there. Part of me wants to maybe move the school to here because I don't have a plan for. I don't have a plan for what to do over here. Although I do want like a yard and maybe a blacktop. I mean, I grabbed this like it's a portable classroom because that reminded me of my elementary school. And we had either one or two portables. I can't remember. They're probably still there, though. I could absolutely go and look. Oh, that's a nice little depot. Nitrate silo. I should put one of these somewhere. Like right here. Just to fill out the area. Like that. Oh, nope. Like that. A little bit more. Close enough. We're gonna need to fill in these areas along these buildings here. That's gonna be an interesting endeavor. But we're pushing the scenery this way. We're pushing it into the suburbs, along the river. That's what I want to do. You know, complaining about the Trainz model reminds me of the Train Sim World complaints. And I'm sure, like, if you saw the podcast, you saw the little rant that TJ and I had about this, which was that, like, the Train Sim World Northeast Corridor, like, Boston to Providence, is, like, pretty but wrong, you know? And I'm going to imagine that you feel the same way. It's like, oh, that's nice that they did that. Why couldn't they have done it right? Like, it's one thing when it's a locomotive that doesn't have a surviving example. But when you can go and look at the thing, go and look at the thing. Go figure out what the little idiosyncrasies of the thing you're modeling is. When it comes to, like, when it comes to trains, or when it comes to most things. I mean, again, plenty of modelers do not have access to the thing that they're modeling, and I can understand. You know, oh, it's a locomotive that's squirreled away up in Idaho. It's tough to get out there and look at it, especially if we're just, you know, we're making a model of the engine and it's going to take X amount of hours, and you know, it's worth getting stuff right, but somebody who's doing it, like, paradoxically, right? Somebody who's doing something for a job usually has a time constraint, whereas somebody who's doing something for a hobby doesn't. And that's why you get better work sometimes out of your hobbyists, because not only are they passionate, but they're but for them it's done when it's done. Um, for a for someone that is doing a for someone that is doing a job, right? They're gonna have, a boss and uh, a deadline, I would imagine. So like, you know, maybe they have to get that done. Oh, this I really wanted to put this here because it's the right angle, but it's so big. It's so big. I wouldn't put this here. If I like lower it, right? If I lower it to like that height, that is a little better. Uh, it looks a little better, but still. And also, it's not quite the right angle. I mean, I should know better. I was never going to get the correct angle perfectly. But it's way too big for this area of town. I'm going to have to save it for another place. I typed in hotel because I was looking for that building specifically. I don't know if I have another building with that. Later, Orion. Thanks for popping by. I don't know if I have another building with that kind of angle. Um, what if I write corner? Bro, it's a corner. Um, rubble corner. I don't even know. See, the thing is, half of the time we're gonna end up with stuff like this is the best we can do in a lot of cases. Just two buildings that aren't particularly deep. What was that? Look at you. Look at this. This is a 90-degree corner, though. Come on, move the thing. Um, Honestly, though, I think we could get away with this. It just doesn't fit here. Like, it doesn't look right, you know? Um, I could absolutely see this as a corner store, and then we just add some buildings. Like if we put this over here, for example, I bet I could make it look decent. Not good, mind you, but kind of decent. Something like that, you know? And the heights are all wrong and yada yada, but like, I bet I could do it. So I need a building like that. Corner shops. Hello. Hello. Now this is more like it. Hello. Mix them together. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'm making a concoction out here. Um, and then this is only good because it fits in the corner. Otherwise, it's not a very good building. It's not very helpful. Um, this is corner storefronts, but it's a 90-degree corner. I really like corner is not the word to use because every building has corners. Well, most buildings have corners. The Sphere in Las Vegas, I don't know about that. I don't know how many corners that thing has. Probably not too many compared to your average building. Um, Corner superstore. I mean, I thought about doing something with a parking lot on the corner, which is probably not a bad call, really. Um, but, oh, that's not great. The rolling door just right into the side of the building. But I don't know if that's right for this area. Hmm. Haymarket. Oh, that's that. Um, Coach repair shop. Yeah, that's what we need. I don't really want it to look like, 14th century England out here, or 18th century England, really. As the EBT shop. I feel like I pull this up every time because I just want to. Like, it's a cool building. I just want to stare at it longingly because I want to go back to the East Broad Top now that they actually are alive and run trains. I haven't been there since they were dead. Um, it would be really cool to go to the East Broad Top. Oh, well, that's cool. I don't know where to put this, but this is a cool building. I really like the storefront on it. Maybe like this. Maybe I put it here, across from these shops, and then we will put a parking lot there. And maybe even I could expand it to a strip mall and add one of the strip mall like buildings adjoining it here. Yeah, let's opportunity shop. Hello. Also, I should rotate this 90 degrees. No, I shouldn't. That wasn't good. That's not good either. How about this? Is that no? That's not aligned right. Probably should have paid attention to what the number was when I messed with it. So, don't they run school transportation services like a bus to a local high school? Oh, um, like we've got a thing here. I feel like buses tend to live somewhere else. Although I might be confused about what you're asking me. I think I am confused about what you're asking me. You're probably referencing something that I said that has already like exited the back of my mind, and I'll never even think about it again. I remember seeing a picture of it in front of a school. Huh. That's a okay. We got an erecting shop there. Oh, the East Broad Top. Oh, the East Broad Top. Okay. Uh, they run. I mean, they don't act as transportation services, but they did just reopen track that runs them right by a high school. I think it's a high school. Um, Now, I would go to school if that was the school bus, right? Um, but that's pretty cool. Um, I absolutely want to. I want to see that. I want to. We've used this elsewhere. I'm pretty sure. I think we used that over here somewhere. Although maybe I put it down and then got hesitant because it looks very run down. But these are the kind of buildings I was looking for. This is store, not shop. Duh. Um, no, wait. But there are a whole bunch of stores that are just like that. That adopt a highway. All right. That I could squeeze in here certainly. I'm bothered that people don't even bother to put like a brick texture on the side of the building. Like, yeah, most of the time it is going to be up against something, but let me end the building somewhere. If I can't do that, it's just going to be a line of buildings extending off into the distance, never ending. I can't end it because the side is all wrong. Supermarket 1942. This does have like a loading dock in the back. So, maybe that. Maybe that is a good place for it. Good thing to do. Um, if the EBT did, I mean, the East Broad Top goes right to the high school. The Wiscasset, Waterville, and Farmington goes or would go if they built back down the right of way, like right next to an elementary school. There are a lot of schools and train combinations that exist, um, and I want to experience all of them, and I'm upset that I didn't get to. Sorry. Okay. Omaha Market 2D. Oh wow. Oh wow. This is actually kind of a cool building. I'm definitely going to put this over here because it could go over here somewhere. Not over here, though. So these two buildings can go together. And then this whole area is going to be parking lot. Break out the paver, I see paradise. Bankman. I think the cat's back there and he's hungry. Okay. You know how much possible funding the EBT could get if they did that? Probably not much. I mean, education funding is fraught enough. I said earlier that like restoring a steam locomotive would be a drop in a state's budget. It would not be a drop in a typical state's education, but well, it probably would be, but you know, I don't want to take any money away from that. The thing with states, as opposed to the feds, is the federal government has stuff that they do that does a lot less direct help to the people in the state, right? The people in a given state, like the federal government has to pay for the whole military, and that's a crazy amount of money. All right, let's see. What do I want to put another like strip mall building here. So let's just try store. But I want it to be something that could have joined the rest of this. Okay, we've got you. The superstore. Bankman. I don't know what he's doing. I think there's got to be a bug or maybe a mouse. I hope it's not a mouse. I hope it's a bug. But he's looking for something over there. My stopwatch is now at 1121 hours. Oh boy. Hope you never break your phone. Or like, I don't know, but would it stop if your phone dies? Do you have to keep your phone charged all the time? Otherwise, you're going to lose your timer. Oh, this is this is kind of a cool building. Store Crested Butte. I mean, I don't really want to use this here. And also, this is like ancient, right? Like, that's way too old. But it's nice. Nice enough. Stores, tenements. Storefronts is not really what I want. Shell store. Reject shop discount store. Oh, let's get rid of this true value thing. The reject shop. I mean, that's cool. This maybe could go in our more modern plaza over here. Didn't I have a... Oh, yeah, there it is. Put that over there. That's not bad. And that's where you find me most of the time. Omaha Tall Stores. Tall Morty. How big is this building? It's actually not that big. I think I might be able to get away with this, like, right here. It might be the biggest building in the neighborhood, but... I mean, it's not too far from stuff. I might give it a little bit of a setback, so it feels less oppressive. Also, these things did genuinely trip me up. This building is so low poly, but the perspective got me, and I thought those were sticking out. Okay, we've also got the old junk store. This is where you can find me when I'm not at the Misfit store. When I'm all sold out over there. What? My phone heard me say something and thought I was talking to it. It's been getting worse about that. I don't know what it is that I'm saying that is tripping it up. But, you know these things. They listen for your wake word. You need to add in a town on the map made entirely out of built-in Trainz 06 buildings. Oh, no. I don't know about that. I don't know how many of those see, like, I never got good at building towns in Trainz 2006. I never developed those skills. I'm used to having a much greater, like, smorgasbord of assets to pick from. And even then, the DLS being as vast as it is, still has its blind spots. Um, but like, I don't know if I could competently make a town out of '06 assets. I know that it is possible. Like, I'm certain it's possible, but I don't know if it's possible for me. Uh, I would. Oh, that's a real serious challenge. The real challenge there is keeping track of which assets are actually from '06. Um, because despite appearances, I really don't have a functional copy. Oh, you've got a digital copy? I don't think I'm gonna to digitally borrow a copy of Trainz 2006. I don't know why it just doesn't seem like the play. Um, unless you want to go through and hand write out all the different assets. Export a list of assets so that I can look at them and figure out which ones I'm allowed to use in my Trainz '06 town. I mean, no, don't worry about that. Uh, what the thing is, there's so much in this map that's already like Trainz 2006 referential. I mean, we're rebuilding the Geiger Mountains, for goodness sake. Oh, the soda's already like getting to me. Oh my god, I'm gonna have the hiccups if I don't get this under control. Goodness. And I'm tired, and I'm warm. It's an all-around not great day for yours truly. Uh, but I'm just happy to be here. Hopefully I don't wrap this early, but I might. I actually thought I was going to have to cancel today because I had plans yesterday, one that I was talking about. Had plans yesterday and thought they were going to get moved. I was certain that they were going to get moved. I was just sort of told, like, hey, we're doing it on Friday instead. It's like, oh, shoot, okay. Let me rearrange my week really quick. And that led to a whole conversation, which led to, like, well, can everyone do Thursday? And then Thursday was out the window, and it was back to yesterday, just a little later. It's like, okay, all right, all right. Everything's fine. No need to panic, right? I don't need to change my whole schedule. I don't need to cancel under construction, um, or like do a super short episode. I want some buildings with depth to fill in this. Hi, Vengman. Some buildings with depth to fill in this area. Pushed '06 to its graphical limits. It looked '09, and when I was driving the Mallard, polygons were having seizures. Jeez. The game would save probably. It was fun. I mean, you all know me. I am absolutely no stranger to pushing a game to its limits. If you are a fan of the ongoing Transport Fever series, you know that, like, the very first thing that I'm learning how to do is go into the station builder and just wreck the thing. We had the 5th episode recently came out on Monday, and my first order of business, practically speaking, was going into the station builder and trying stuff that is probably inadvisable, you know? Um, but I did it, and it took me a couple of attempts, but I did make it work after all. I invite everyone to check that series out. I need to update my YouTube channel page so that it shows that that's the new series. Like, that's the current ongoing Monday series instead of Derail Valley, because the Derail Valley series, I mean, that predates the Factorio series because that was the thing that came after when I broke Derail Valley. I really want to get back into Derail Valley, but I want to get back into a lot of stuff. I've recently started dabbling. I have been watching some guy on YouTube play XCOM 2 Long War of the Chosen. uh, which is a modded XCOM 2. It makes the strategic layer much more interesting. It makes the game much more complex. Um, and I sort of wanted to check it out for two reasons. One, because I knew I didn't really have time to experience it myself, number one. And B, because I I wanted to know if I really would like it as much as I thought I would. And I'm at the point now where, okay, yeah, I do like it. Maybe I should shift, I should make some time. Um, I should check this out. I mean, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. I know I've got a lot to do, and like the trading cards and the local games are all pretty much firmly on hold right now, which isn't great. I wish I was doing them, but there's only so much like work a person can do, and most of my hobbies are basically work. I mean, this is work. It is. Uh, but don't take that the wrong way. I still like doing it. But it is, if I, if I could like vegetate in my chair for 3 hours a week, uh, then I would do that. Or like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that building a route takes discipline, and this is the amount of discipline that I have. I don't have enough to go make trading cards right now, but I do have enough to do this. The rest of all my discipline is going to figuring out stuff for this wedding, and when that's done, maybe I'll have more free time. I keep pushing the deadline sort of back, or like the expected release date back and back and back in my mind, and it's just like, I mean, maybe the war will be over by Christmas. It would be nice to get a batch of cards out for the holiday season because, buy them for your former friends. Uh, Battletoads. Uh, and I'm hoping that I can do that. I can't guarantee that I can do that. I am crossing my fingers and saying, like, I am going to do my level best to make this happen. Um, but I don't know if it will. And a lot of the stuff is like, okay, I'm spinning my wheels. I need to find something. I need to find, like, I need to find something. I need to find some way to move forward on these cards. And recently I took all the cards that I was making for Mark, for Heist, and I went and I just sort of made an updated list of what each card needs. Some things need a picture, some things need a picture and a description, some things need, just to be reviewed by somebody who knows the locomotives better. It's one of those things. This is pavement slabs. Pavement grass. Okay. It's one of those things where I am trying to keep it all straight. And I know, like, oh, we're supposed to do a bracket of regular locomotive verses. Personally, I think that's going to be boring, but that's what people voted on. And I'm going to give the people what they want. Cluster truck. Oh, I do have that. I was following Cluster Truck when it was called Highway Fight Squad, and the idea was like a, is that a fly? Bankman, the bug is back. And the idea was like a gang beast sort of thing, I think. I can't remember what like the initial premise was, but that game seemed so cool. I remember I got the demo, um, or like the beta or whatever, and I mean, it's a cool game. There's not much to it, of course, but it's a cool game. I don't know how much time. Oh, is I'm gonna come back. I don't know how much time I could realistically spend in it, and also, it is not the kind of game that I'm generally good at. If you want me to play a platformer, the closest thing you're gonna get is me playing Noita, and Noita is not a platformer. It is a 2D side scroller, but you're not making agility jumps, and I can't. I have never been remotely good at that sort of thing. Mario, I can't play Mario. In terms of Mario, we have no Mario. And you think that would be built in because I'm Italian, but uh, I also never really played Nintendo games. I never had a Nintendo system. I was one of like the 3 households left in the United States that didn't own a Wii. But I, you know what? Let's crunch this together a little bit, maybe. Um, I can't do platforming. I don't know why. I've never been good at it, and I haven't been around that enough to even like begin to hone my skills. So, uh, I, as much as I think Cluster Truck is a really cool game, I don't know if I'm ever gonna pop that open again. And of course, I only have the demo, so I only had a little bit anyway. Replace with selected asset. Yeah, there we go. Oops. And then if I scoot this up to the sidewalk there, and this too. This grass sidewalk really gives you a lot of options for making an area look good. I like gun games and train games. it, it is a fly, all right. When you say gun games, do you mean shooters or do you mean games that are like gun centric? Like I know there's a game where you like take apart and put together guns. Uh, I know there aren't uh, there aren't a lot of games that are gun games but are not shooters. But you know, it's I like Battlefield and Halo, but I wouldn't call them gun games. They are games with guns in them, where guns are one of the major mechanics. But I'm not I'm not going to them for guns. I'm going to them for the shooter aspect, uh, which is sort of like the opposite to train games, right? Like Derail Valley is a train game. Railroader is a train game. Um, they are games where the focus is trains. Uh, uh, hold on. Shoo! Open TTD is a train, or Transport Fever is a train game, in the way that, oh, I never hit enter on the thing. Son of a gun, I forgot. Uh, Transport Fever is a train game in the way that Call of Duty is a gun game, right? Like, it is a game with trains in it. It's not a game about trains per se, but it is a game with a lot of train. Um, so I think that's an interesting distinction to make. And that's really, I mean, it's me being pedantic, and I apologize. I don't mean to discredit what you said. Um, I'm just thinking, right? Like turns of phrase are interesting to sort of dissect. Okay. All right, let's go back into Surveyor Classic. Let's fill this in. I think, yeah. Oh, you know what? We need this to be filled in because of the entrance back there. The rest of it, like this part, can be grass. Um, when is Aaron gonna add the drifting mechanic to trains? Get the multi-track drifting. Yeah, we need to. Why can't we do that? Come on, that's the most major feature we're missing. All right, I want my cruddy, like really dark dirt, or my woodsy back area. Yeah, there you go. The unkempt. I wish we could favorite these. There used to be a feature. That used to be a feature. Does anyone else remember that? I remember that. Used to have favorites. Not Polar Express stuff. I mean, yeah, drifting a train on ice. Um, or multi-track drifting. I mean, you can 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Wasn't that a thing in '04? Yeah, the uh, favoriting textures was the thing in '06 at least. It I feel like it persevered past that substantially, but it's been a long time since I've thought about it. Either way, you know, the route as your pick list has always been my go-to. I think that is a strat that is easy to employ, and I recommend heavily. Um, okay. So maybe I can add like a walkway through here. Where's you know where I need to go to grab a dirt walkway is all the way over here. Probably be easier just to find the dirt walkway. There's a campground out here somewhere over by Adams. So that's over here. Path dirt track. Yeah, if I had typed in dirt, I probably would have found it just fine. Oh wait, if I go back here and I open that and I click on that, yippee, it takes me right back to here. Don't look down. Um, and also, I don't know what's... So, Control Shift F, Control Shift F. I need to get better with that, because opening and closing the window there is driving me nuts. So, I want to have a little dirt path down behind these buildings here. Because I want to have a reason for this area to sort of exist. This is also way too high off the ground. It's above the dirt track is above the sidewalk. Not normal. There's still favorites pick list or something. Can you put textures in the pick list? I guess I've never tried that. But also you can't see what the textures are and their descriptions are not very descriptive. So like if I do this, let's create pick list test. Can I go into here and I want to grab this and I want to put it... Oh, and you do get a little sample. I'm getting tired of this fly. Venkman, can you kill this bug, please? Lazy cat? Can I just drag it out to get rid of it? Yeah. Delete pick list. I guess I have never tried to put those in there. Although, I always thought pick lists were around back then, too. How long have pick lists been a thing? I never got to using them. And every time I use them, I end up accidentally deleting them because of whatever. Pacific Production says the Acela 2 is finally real. I am overjoyed. I am also very excited about it. I need to book my tickets to ride it. I am just sort of... I'm hesitating because there are other wedding-related things that are sort of in the way of it. And I'm hesitating because if I can save a whole bunch of money on lodging for the honeymoon, then I might actually go for first class. Because I think that would be dope. I think it would be really cool to do first class for my first ride on a train as a married man, right? It looks cool though. I'm really happy to see them tooling around. And I know that like the first one's already having door problems, and there have been some complaints, but like they're here, and that's a really important first step that took 9 years. So you know, as long as that ball is rolling, I'm going to continue being happy and optimistic. Hopefully, they've been around, they've been tested enough that they're not about to have major problems like the AEM 7s did. I'm sorry, the HHP8s did. The AEM7s were wonderful in every respect, um, and I miss them every day of my life. But F, uh, you know, I don't want a wood fence or a timber fence. I want a fence that is not made of wood. Oh, he's up again. Come on, lazy cat. Catch the fly. I need a fence that you can't see through. I need like a... Ah, there we go. Corrugated 1942 fence. And then to right there. And honestly, that is probably it, because I don't need the rest of this. And this whole area back here is probably just going to be, like, somewhat kept grass. So if I can find my little spline, yeah, there it is. The Pickless being around since 09 makes sense. I don't remember having Pickless when I was learning to play Trainz. I might be wrong about that, but I don't remember having them. And I never paid attention to them. And there is not much that I sort of foundationally picked up when it comes to my workflow. Holy crap, he actually caught it. He caught the fly. Hey, Mossy Mug. I just saw a Burger King ad, now I'm craving chicken fries. The chicken fries, I'm not a fan of. The mozzarella fries, though, especially the spicy ones that they had, and then they had when everything was spicy, and then they got rid of them, and they brought them back for How to Train Your Dragon. That was great. I appreciated that. Okay. I think I want to do extra wide sidewalks on this stretch, because I know that people are going to park with one wheel up on the curb. Because I can't fit driveways for these guys. Yeah, it is Kempt. Kempt. Yeah. Yeah, I believe that is the correct spelling. Unkempt. And I try to make sure that I try to pronounce, like, I try to pronounce the M in Kempt, but it takes effort. It's one of those things that, like, it's gonna disappear. It is gonna disappear. Like, I can't think of another thing off the top of my head, but there are linguistic things that have vanished, even in relatively recent memory. There are things that are so a part of the English language now that they might as well be taught in schools. Uh, like, and yes, I understand the mentality, and I agree with the mentality of teaching it the right way so that you know when you're allowed to break the rules. That comes in the form of writing. That comes in the form of any creative pursuit, right? Writing in particular is one because it's like writers break the rules all the time. In order to make an interesting story, you almost have to. But you want to learn the right way because then you know when what you do is going to stand out. And then at least you know what the right way is. If you, like the word gonna, Gonna, that's not a word. It's not in the dictionary. I'm pretty sure it's not anyway. Not in any dictionary I've ever seen. But like gonna as a contraction of going to is almost universal. And it's like, why are we holding that one back? Because it is almost universal. It's in everything. I very seldom write the words going to, even when I am writing. Uh, because nobody says going to. Really, not that much. Not anymore. Um, okay, we've done this block. That's pretty good. I'm gonna go to Maine again soon. I'm going to go to Maine. It's very no doesn't it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit in my mouth. Oh, abandoned TTX center beam. Uh, and like that's not universal, obviously, but it's pretty close. There's no true universal anything really. Um, something from one of my favorite television shows is, there is only one truth: the universe is infinite. And oh, phrasing. What did I say? Oh, this is a nice station. Oh, I can't fit it in my mouth. Yeah, no, shush, shush, shush. Um, uh, and it's like everything else has caveats. But write going to. I mean, if you write going to, you can write going to. Like I've probably written going to not as dialogue, right? Like that's the difference. If you're writing out like if you're writing out narration, then gonna is gonna appear a lot less, and going to is going to appear more often because that is the right way. But if you're narrating, if you're doing characters talking, it's less common that you're gonna see going to written out. But even then, that varies based on, are you writing in the modern era? Are you writing? There's all sorts of variables there. But if like YOLO can be added to the dictionary, so can Ghana. At least as a contraction, right? If you put an apostrophe in the word Ghana, you have either created a proper contraction for going to, or the name of an alien in Star Trek, Ghana, right? They're all like every. Why do aliens always have just like uh random apostrophes in their everything? What was that? Actually, can I put this as like a little outbuilding somewhere? Hello. Um, YOLO cannot be added to any dictionary ever. I'm pretty sure it's already in a dictionary. And you know why they added it? YOLO. Is YOLO. I remember this being yeah, it's an Oxford English Dictionary. YOLO. You only live once. Used to express the view that one should make the most of the present moment without worrying about the future. Um, it's in there. Do I agree it should be in there? I don't know, but I don't make the rules. I and honestly, that may be the first time I've actually used YOLO. Maybe not, but certainly in a very long time. Strange the humans and aliens both simultaneously developed the Latin alphabet. Yeah. It's weird that every planet speaks English and looks like British Columbia. It's fascinating what NASA has discovered. Um, it sent me when I learned that the planet that they visited in uh in the newest episode of Star Trek was just a Pittsburgh joke. It was it was named Pamanti or something. It was like a derivative of Pamanti, or something. and it's like, oh, those are the guys that put the French fries in the sandwich, and then it's like, oh, neat, they named it after that, and then they have one of the characters talk about putting French fries in a sandwich in the episode, and it still went over my head until somebody mentioned it to me, uh, or on Reddit, and it was just what writers get away with, man. Okay, let's grab this and then apply this, and then I can barely make out. I thought I could barely make out some yellow right here, but that might be me tripping, honestly. I mean, let's see. Is that on a line? F9. No, not really. Okay, so that is just the way the texture looks. By the way, though, go to Pittsburgh, get one of those sandwiches. They're good. Okay, this actually is an excellent building to go right here at the edge of the built-up district because it's sort of long and skinny. We have a lot of sidewalks to do. Oh boy. Okay. What's next? It's 8:40 already. It's really crept up on us. I like how this is getting filled out, though. We are really getting there, and I think we probably need another large parking lot here. If I scoot this forward, there might be enough room to add something here. And that building that we were looking at that I wanted to put in that was too run down would actually go quite well with this, I think. Oh, there's dudes here. I didn't notice them before. Oh, I probably actually want a Texaco sign for this. Billboard Texaco. Old Tex. I am surprised that I don't have a sign. And we did put a billboard here, like pointing at the thing, right? Because we could use another one. Where did I put a billboard? I definitely put one. I don't remember where I put it, but I swear we were messing with billboards in a previous episode, and I definitely put one somewhere where you could see it from the tracks. I don't remember where. I feel like it should be obvious because it's a billboard. Maybe that got deleted. My Trainz is being eaten alive. Maybe it was over here, actually. It's not that. We're going to have to replace that eventually, but for now, it's still funny. I want to put this billboard somewhere. Somewhere. But there aren't a ton of good places to put a billboard. I want to put it on the roof of something, really. Maybe this building? Oh, this is like that's got to be on the side of a highway, though. This, on the other hand, it's really crunchy. That's a really crunchy sign. I wanted to put this on a roof, but you wouldn't nail a whole bunch of wooden stakes into a roof like that. Yeah, okay. Maybe it doesn't make sense for this to go here. Maybe it does not. I wanted a sign. I wanted a Texaco sign. I'm wondering if, can I take the Texaco, like the other gas station that has the sign? Where'd it go? You? No, the sign is not tall enough. I'm really surprised. I thought we had one with a giant sign that I could just sink the whole building under the ground. I mean, there's this, but that's way too new. Also, that's Bexato. It's labeled Texaco, but it's Bexato. The knockoffs. The store brand. Okay. This is a neat little building. I think I could maybe squeeze it here. Yeah, like right there. And we could probably just scoot it up to the edge of the road. Yeah. That's great. That's great. That's what we want. I definitely do not feel like driving trains today. So I'm sorry if you came here for that. I don't think that's going to happen. But let's see. Oh, I grabbed the wrong thing. Give me the Airba 3. And then let's just put grass all along this edge here. And this building is really cool, honestly. I'm going to do sidewalk around the edge of it. At least two of the edges of it. And then maybe a sort of gravel alleyway or pass through here. But like not nice gravel, like this kind of gravel. This is hog. I have better gravel than this. Let's put that there. Let's try to make sure that no matter what we do, we don't leave any grid lines visible. One of the things that has become a recurring theme whenever I do go drive around a train on this route is finding little areas where I've missed the grid lines. And just like tidying up the tiniest amounts of texture. And it takes you out of it, you know? When you can see the grid, it takes you out of it. Let's bring that to that. And then this to, let's go to there, and then we'll tuck this underneath. Whoops. Nope. Come on, work with me, damn it. I wanted to bring this to like there, bring this one to here, and then increase the height of this by just a tiny bit. Get rid of the Z fighting and hide the other end of that. Same thing with this. I can move this out to about here. Actually, I'll connect this all the way to the road. That makes the most sense. And you will go like, come on, like this. Of course, it's going to make it easier now. It's so much easier now that I'm shooting from a distance. Okay. And let's do that. And I don't know, maybe I'll put like a large paved square on the corner, because how much really do we need for pavement? How much of the edge of this building do we really need a sidewalk to go around? Some of it is going to need some grass. Let me just do this then, and then come back at it from the other direction like so. I kind of wish I had something to put in that corner, but alas. Oh, you know what? You know what I can put over here, though? I can put parking. More parking. We're always short on parking. Just one more lane, bro. Just one more. It'll fix traffic, bro. One more lane. Um, oh shoot. Oh shoot. I forgot that this is the 38 foot. And as a consequence, there is no sidewalk and only one side version of this road. Ah, Mason. Mason, please. Okay, let's see, what are we going to use for this texture? Because I don't want to use gravel. I want to use pavement that kind of matches. So, concrete of some description. Concrete mid-ground. Yeah, it looks mid to me. Um, no, that looks terrible. What if I turn the scale way down? That looks much better. And it even tiles reasonably well. Okay, yeah, actually, I like that. I like that asset. That's pretty good. Um, as for Higbee's here, I don't know. This I don't know because it really doesn't feel like this makes a lot of sense because this is fairly open. Um, maybe I should just delineate it with grass or something, or maybe we can delineate it with a hedge. Maybe a hedge is the right way to do it for this specifically. I mean, I've been trying to avoid them in the downtown because they don't really feel like they make sense in a downtown, but I could see that being there. It breaks up the space well enough that I could see it. The other thing is we just have so many non-right angle corners. I would put a statue in that plaza over there if I didn't already have so many statues in plazas nearby. Otherwise, it'd be a shoe-in for a statue at plaza. I might even put one right here because, I mean, look at it. It's this big triangular space. What building am I going to be able to fit here? Except for maybe that stupid Denver hotel again, but that's going to take up the whole damn block. Hotel. I think I use this in Iron Horseman route too, and it's still not quite right. Oh well, you know what? It's pretty damn close. But this really does feel like, you know what? This would be a great building to put a billboard on the roof. Say that much. Um, it's just so big. It's so big, and like maybe if I lowered it a little bit, which is fine uh, because the first floor is kind of cut off, like so many other buildings in Trainz. The first floor is kind of cut off, but like I don't even think this feels right. I mean, it honestly makes it feel a little bit claustrophobic. Um, I don't think there's a place you could put this. The footprint of this is way too big. That's the thing. The footprint is too big. It's the right shape. It's the right angle. If it was, half the size, I would absolutely put it right there. But hello, Comfort Inn. Uh, but it's not. It takes up an enormous amount of space, and I think I could justify it if I really wanted to put it there. But I don't really want to put it there. I just I see the space, and monkey sees action, neuron activation. Like I want to put a triangular building in the triangular space, but I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't do that. I should leave this open to be the space across from the train station. Right. I should leave it as worst case, a park of some description. Where did my gravel road go? Oh, it's all the way over here by the school. I need a bigger school than that, honestly, for this. But we've got some other larger schools. We've got some other schools in the neighborhood. Um, it's just that is the closest one that I've made so far. Or no, there's the one over there, but I think that's an elementary school. This one looks more like a high school, even though I'm, again, it's reminiscent of my elementary school. Not in terms of building shape, just because of the portables. But I don't know. I think we need at least one more like large school building if we are putting a school over here. And the fact that there's a funeral home over here, that doesn't help either. Like, what's going on at this school, bro? Um, so if I were to move this funeral home over there, and I were to say school, the other problem is this school building. I think it's a little out of scale. It's much smaller than a lot of similar school buildings. Um, yeah, because like we've got this. This exists, and this isn't too bad. I mean, I've used this in like 2 or 3 other places already. But the idea is if we have these two school buildings sort of sharing this with this road going down the middle, and maybe there'd be a chain link fence, so that people can't just drive down this with impunity. Maybe just bollards will do. I'm going the wrong way. I want to go over here to this. Yeah, so you can't... I mean, you can tell that this is the same building, but it's obscured enough that it's not super obvious. It makes a good hospital. So, yeah, this connection here, I don't think is going to be... Yeah, I'll want to box this off, and then this is going to be a macadam road. So are like all the roads through here, maybe except for this one, and this one. Yeah, this one's already macadam road. So let's update those. It will feel like progress, and that's always nice. If you can update the roads, because these are all templates. If you draw your street grid with templates, with template assets, and then you get to do this afterward, to say like, oh, this is the area that is currently under construction, then that's good. It makes it feel like progress, and it is progress. It's like, it's been so incremental, the progress here on Bellington, but not only has it been a lot of fun, it has genuinely been steaming along. I mean, look at that. Look at that town. I think that's great. It's not the most beautiful town, but it's there. And it is a size that is genuinely... It's a size that's big enough to get lost in, right? And like that's good. Like Los Santos in GTA 5 feels a lot bigger than it is because you're at ground level. If you could get up and fly, when you get up and fly over it, like there's still a lot of city there, but it's not Los Angeles. It is sort of a simulation of Los Angeles. It looks kind of like Los Angeles in a much smaller area. Bye, baby. And when it comes to this, I'm trying not to do that. I recognize that because I haven't sat down and like done serious research and analysis of cities and towns, it's probably going to come out like that. But I'm aiming for something different. I'm aiming for I'm aiming for, like, as close to real as I can get without, one, just, like, killing myself over building too much town. Uh, like, wearing myself to the point where I just collapse. Uh, but also, oh wow, those buildings are close but not quite. I think I'll just put in a little bit of texture over here to make it fit, to make it look all right. I I know that I'm still not going to be building towns that are realistic in size. I know that if I really wanted to go nuts, our suburbia would stretch to, the edges of the tiles and beyond easily. Right? Like for this, how much suburbia do I need for this? I need tons. I need tons and tons and tons. And we don't have that because that is so incredibly boring. And like, yeah, I'm probably at the point where I can grab these 6 or 8 or 12 blocks or whatever is here, uh, these 9 blocks, and sort of start copy pasting them and rearrange them and change little things, just like tweak them uh, so that they are random enough. And I probably will get to that point. Um, but until we do, we're sort of, it's a lot of tedium, and it's never going to be large enough. It's never going to be the right size, uh, because towns are really big. Because everything is bigger and smaller than you think. I've said that. That's like a small mantra. Like usually I'm talking about landscapes, but in this case I'm talking about the sizes of towns. And this I'm looking forward to playing around in this. Also, is this not straightened? What's going on here? I think I'm going to assume, nope, that was not on purpose. Okay, that was just not straight. I was going to say, I'm going to assume that was on purpose, like I had two straightened things sort of competing with each other. But, no, it was not on purpose. And yeah, like this yard is one that I'm fairly proud of. I'm fairly proud of this and Mason's Landing. That's it. The other yards, I mean, this yard over here is not bad either, but it's pretty straightforward. Um, and I love having yards that are partially stub. It's very frustrating, but I love it. What are you doing here? Oh, I had to pull you out of. Oh, that was, yeah. Never mind. I remember why that's there. Um, oh, and I've still got this intersection to fix. That's why I've got the big blue push pin. Oh God, do I spend an hour or so with the AI? Last time, last time we played, last time we recorded, I spent a whole bunch of time working on the industry over here, the bleachery. And I'm still not sure if it works, number one. But number two, I'm not quite sure if it can work. Which, I mean, I can see that's general goods. I can see this is some sort of pallet thing. Right, that's what we put on there. Actually, what we should do with the last hour here, or however long we want to keep this going, is make another one of these. And I need to get back in the headspace to build the car spawners again. Still don't know if they're going to work, but alas. So this is the coal one. I said I wasn't going to do that one because that is never going to work. And this one is corn, right? Big lump with knobs. It has the juice. What comes after corn in the alphabet? in the dictionary. If I go to commodity balance on my spreadsheet, the next thing up is diesel fuel. This is actually a really important one, and I need to get onto the point where I'm connecting these up so I can actually access them. So beer pallet, yeah, everything else is accurate to the diesel fuel. Let's see, that's corn, the corn portal. Diesel fuel portal. Let me just get through renaming everything first. Oh, and I've got to swap things. So those are the only two things I can rename from that. Everything else I'm pretty sure I can rename from here, including the track marks. So this is going to be diesel fuel load end, and then what is this even called? NSTL diesel fuel portal signal. Okay. This is going to be diesel fuel entrance. And then diesel fuel 1S. Diesel fuel 1S. Next up is, let's do these. NSTL diesel fuel loads signal. And then NSTL diesel fuel empties signal. I think that's empties and not empty. Yep. So this one is, probably could have just gone with diesel, but I'm trying to match the actual name of the commodity as much as I can. Oh, it says exist. Gotta fix that on all these. Some of them are not fixed. I thought I noticed it and fixed it in all of them. I guess I did not. Am I still exist? Exit, exit, exit. Okay, so I missed some of the later ones. Yeah, once we get these all ready, they need to be set up in a way that I can connect an indefinite number of them. I need to string them together. Basically, from this end is the only way that's going to work. NSTL diesel fuel connector signal. They don't all need to say signals. They don't all need to say signal. Not all the signals need to say signal. Diesel fuel terminate. And then this one. Diesel fuel. This one. Fuel. And then I think that's everything. We got, oh, nope, not you. Diesel fuel overflow end. Okay. So that should be everything in there. Now I need to set up the industry. This is going much faster than the previous ones. Diesel fuel. All right, go into queues. Go into here. Delete that. We're going to go with diesel fuel. We're going to set the waybill to 100. I think that's what we did with the others. Products. Liter. No, sorry. Items. Get the coal out of here. Add diesel fuel. Load into vehicle. Processes. It's going to create diesel fuel. Now, those two things I need to check. Number one is what we did for the way bill. Okay, 100%. And what we did for the processes, that I can check. That I can check over here. What I need to check is what is a carload of diesel fuel, and I feel like I should have this one baked in. It's 388.00, which 388.00 multiplied by 4 is a whole bunch. Let's see. Oh, it's 155,200, I think. Yes. So 155,200. Let's put that in there, and then processes. We're going to create 1 carload of diesel fuel. Why is it in tons? Why is it in tons? Because I'm dumb. That's why. Okay. It's going to produce 388.00 every 900 seconds, if I remember right. Let's just double check. 4 productions per hour, 900 seconds. Yes. These do not need to be precise. They're creating 1 carload every 15 minutes. They're on. No diesel fuel available for pickup. Okay, last thing to do is setting up... Oh, no, sorry. We've got 2 things to do. We've got 2 things to do. Number 1 is this, which is much more entertaining. So add driver, you. Your name is going to be Diesel. Your name is Diesel Fuel. You're going to navigate to track mark list. Navigate to track mark list. You're going to navigate to diesel fuel. Navigate to first available. And then you're going to wait 5 seconds. You need a Chevy pickup facing backwards. And then you need 4 of whatever car I decided was important enough to designate diesel fuel, which I think there are a couple of those. So if I check on my diesel fuel list, there's one. That's not it. Oh, I found an error. Let me correct that really quick. Sorry, bear with me. Bear with me. Standard oil tanker 1. And that is the only one that carries that in that commodity, or in that amount, as far as I can tell. Yeah, standard oil tanker 1. All right, is the SD warrant... Okay, the SD warrant, I did break it up a little bit. Okay, I did break it up a little bit. That was intentional. Standard oil tanker 1. Because you're carrying the oil. So I need 4 of you. That's the only thing, and you're going to do that. That's it. This is the coal... Wait a minute. I clicked on the wrong one, didn't I? And I can't really move them around very easily. Hey, alright. Try that again. This is the diesel fuel portal. Probably should have noticed that it didn't say diesel fuel. Probably should have noticed that. Chevy pickup. Reversed. Standard oil tank car 1. 4 cars. That's it for that. Navigate through track mark list. Diesel fuel first available. Wait for 5 seconds. And now we do the rule part, the most tedious. Restart the rules. Edit U. Yeah, it's 741 now. Oh, wait. Why is that one 3? Oh. I got rid of the weight in some of these. Just to save myself the effort. Now it's 731. Yeah. Okay. Add new trackside entity. Select track mark. This is going to be NSTL diesel fuel. Diesel fuel 3. We'll do 3 first. In both directions all along the session. Then it's just going to be delete train. Just like that one. Add new trackside entity. Diesel fuel. I'm surprised that's the only thing that says diesel. Diesel fuel is going to be uncouple from... Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Decouple number 1, which really, I hope, works. Decouple number 1, and then navigate to terminate, and then terminate. Navigate to track mark. Diesel fuel terminate. Oop, navigate to track. Why didn't it select? Navigate to track mark. Diesel fuel terminate. And then not terminate passenger train. Delete the train. Add new trackside entity. Let's go. It goes right to the bottom. I should have scrolled down to the bottom first. Diesel fuel number 1, the most complicated one. Diesel fuel number 1. I'm pretty sure the first one is just to drive to the industry, right? Drive to the industry and then load. I should be able to do this with my eyes closed. We'll add load first. Navigate to... Oh, okay, we do have a bunch of diesel fuel. Yeah. Although, it's not called diesel fuel. Multiple pickup drop-off, yes. And then navigate to track mark, diesel fuel 1, wait for 5 seconds, uncouple or decouple from number 1, and then drive, navigate to track mark, diesel fuel terminate, and then terminate. Goodbye. Okay, so that still isn't working, for the record. I have not had the chance to check if it's working because I haven't played on the route for a full hour in a while, and we're not going to do that now. So, let me instead think about this connection here, because so this goes over everything, but that doesn't mean it has to, I guess, is what I'm thinking, right? Like, or no, it can go over more. What I'm thinking is we can probably have a track that spirals up to here, to head on out of this assembly area, train assembly area, which maybe should just point in this direction. So that's what we need to figure out. If these are going to extend indefinitely off this way, right? And also, why do we even have Baltimore Station over here? If these are going to extend indefinitely in that direction, then whatever they tie into needs to be... They need to tie in a way that isn't a problem. If we assume an indefinite number of them, an ever-extending amount of them. So, like, let's fill this in here. Bring us back to flat. Sea level 0, whatever. And yeah, that's flat. Yeah, okay. I wanted to make sure that wasn't climbing. I wasn't sure if it was. So, change the ground, change the landscape over here. And part of me wants to say, hey, what if I just put a whole bunch of tracks here? We use that as a sorting yard to put together trains. that honestly might be the smartest opportunity here. I mean, how long are these trains really going to be? Or at least we can put together parts of trains based on destination. I mean, we have space here for like 20 cars. I don't know how long these trains are going to be. I don't think they're going to be 100-car trains. I mean, we're modeling the 50s, and like that existed, but not in the same way it does now. The cars were also a lot smaller. Uh, but I digress. If I take a piece of track here and I just jump into Surveyor 2.0 and then copy it to the left, slide it to the left, just a half a block, whatever you want to call that. Select both of them, do that again. They're not quite lined up in the way that I hoped they would be. If I select both of them, I should be able to scoot it. Yeah, there we go. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that. I mean, how many of these tracks do we need? How many destinations do we have? That's the real question. I think maybe another 4 will do it. This is sort of like the equivalent of the bowl. This is going to be us organizing cars to send out. But it's a stub yard because we're only ever going in one direction, and this is an outbound only yard. Like, there are no inbounds here. Maybe we could have an inbound, but we don't really need it. And so I think that's where we should start. A 5th track over here. I don't remember what I wanted these 2 portals for. But if I go back into Surveyor Classic, I put in these 2 portals over here. Or sorry, I put in an extra track right here with a little bit of space. And the other sort of kicker is the fact that this section through here starts ascending to go up to the main line, because we're at sea level right now. We're literally at sea level. And I don't think I want to do that. Well, I can do that by adding some single slip switches, which is the way to do that. Let's see. If I put a track there and then I draw this out as shallow of an angle as I can to right here. Pinkman? I don't actually know if he's in the background. If he's in the background, that'd be pretty funny. No, he's not. There he is. Stretch. Yawn. Okay. Yeah, this is like as close as it's going to get, or as slanted as they're going to get. Yeah, this'll have to do. I mean, we're gonna run out of space otherwise. I'd actually like to have 2 tracks for this, and we'll have room for our crossover down here, but if this is our outbound track, and then it's got to come under here, and then it's got to loop like that to get up to this track, and get in and cross over. I'll have to focus on this more next time, I think. But that can go there. And also, I mean, I need to straighten out some of these. Let's go back into Surveyor 2 and let's double this track. Because this one will be the one that goes to the yard. Like, this is our yard lead, sort of. And then we'll have this one. And maybe we can have a yard lead that just goes out in the middle, and then another track that goes up. And that should be acceptable. Not great, but acceptable. The thing that I think would be best is if we could get this over to... like, be perpendicular to this. That's the real problem, is we need to make this perpendicular. We need to have some serious curvature on this if our line of car spawners is going to continue on into the great beyond. I don't have unlimited room to trunk everything down, so it's got to be organized. So that spline point there, I think, is going to be our sort of stopping point for everything needs to be lined up by this spot. And it's just a question of what is the tightest turn I can make? What is the tightest turn I can make to be perpendicular with these? And that is pretty tight, but honestly, it looks okay. It looks okay. And with that in mind, you can cut this back to about here. Let's see, right about there. And then perfect curve means that, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it means it would be this one. Although we can pull this out just a little bit, just to give ourselves a little bit more room. So maybe let's try with this one. Right out to that edge there. And then can I do this? It's not going to be pretty, but it will work. The other thing is, and I'd like to copy paste this, honestly, just so the curves are always the same. Actually, we can do that. We can literally do that. Let's go back into 2.0. Because I should be able to, and since I added these little connector pieces, that's perfect. That's exactly what you're going to want to do. And then I want you, and then I want to go here, and just scoot it. Oh, okay. No, I do need both the connector pieces, or it's going to look really goofy. That's fine. That's acceptable. Hold control, scoot it over. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Hold control, grab the axis, scoot it over. And once again, okay. Yeah. You know what? This is working. I mean, the throughput is going to be abysmal. It's going to be really bad because everything trunks down to the same exact line, and, like, that's not good. But I can't reliably move all the car spawners because the portals don't like to move. So we're kind of stuck with these the way they are, and we're just going to have to deal with the fact that the throughput's kind of low. I mean, if we can fish 4 cars out of here in an hour, if we can fish as many loads out as we need over the course of 24 hours, which right now is what? It's, if I look at the commodity balance, we've got a total carload deficit of, let's just sum the above. We've got a total carload deficit of 21.8, although that's ignoring all of the, some, I kind of want, I want to see like substitute of an absolute value, because actually if I select all of the, if I select all these, that comes out to 100 cars. 100 cars, 100 car loads that we are missing. What's up? Sure. I can't guarantee it'll run well, but yeah, dude, you know, go nuts. Um, yeah, so I don't have room to connect this the way I want it to. So I'm gonna have to trunk these off of something off of this turn, probably 1, 2, 3 off of that turn, and then 1, 2, 3 over to this. Yeah, something like that. Um, let's just extend a switch out from here. And then, can we honestly just connect it like this? I mean, it's gonna look ugly, but we're kind of building like, we're kind of building the computer you see in an alien spaceship and not a rail yard. You know, everything's got hoses connected to it. Everything's got tubes. Uh, you know, this is not Trainz. This is Alien. And you know, we really had better off. Well, no, I can use a 3-point switch. The AI can understand that, and so can a human. Let's. This is the kind of rail yard that will be looked upon in many years, and people will go, "What the heck was he thinking?" Of course, not really, because it's only preserved here on my computer and here on the internet where I am explaining what I'm doing. But if in the future the aliens don't speak English, unlike every alien race in every sci-fi show, then you know, then maybe there'll be some issues. I think I'm going to scoot some of these around using 2.0 though, because some of these curves are still a little too sharp for comfort, even for the staging yard that isn't, you know, real, quote unquote. Like canonically, this doesn't exist. There's no train realm off the edge of the map for the denizens of Tolbrand. There's another city here. Okay. That's better. that's much better. Now, for future, I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do, but I'm glad that this exists now. Let's actually jump back to Surveyor Classic. We'll add a couple of... Well, we can't really add a crossover here because this is just going to be all switches that tie into that. What I should do then is scoot this back. Put this here. Yeah, okay. Is this sloped, or is this... No, I mean, it is, but it's only because it's leading into that. I might end up needing to tighten this ladder up a little bit, because right now it's not gonna fly. Although, the furthest track is this one. The one that's going to be the longest track. That's you. And if I scoot you all the way down here, to right about there, that means we do have this much room for stuff that isn't the yard ladder. And I'm going to try to make a yard ladder with switches that are kind of okay. That might be difficult, but that's my goal. You know me, I've always been bad at it. So, scoot this down this way. Is this straightened? No, it's probably not. It's not. You can tell by looking at the switch. So, alright, scoot that back a little bit, now that I know what the problem is. Back into Surveyor Classic, and then I want to... Basically, I want to throw in a double crossover right here. It's a little tight, but one of these things is going to be the yard lead, and the other one is going to be sort of the exit track. And I think the exit track is actually going to be this one over here. And we'll just have it come up next to these four and plug in over here, I guess. Because the inner one should probably be the yard lead. You know? So that if I have a train leaving and a train shunting, they're not clipping through each other in the middle here. That would not look cool. That would not look good. Ghoul. Mixture of cool and good. So, alright. We're starting to build a staging yard. And that's not this over here. This is something else. This is going to be something. Hopefully it works. If we can get... I'm going to check and see if... let's see, manage content. Let's go look at track mark. Schedule at track mark. Can I see list asset versions? Okay, this is the most recent version. When was this posted? Posted by P Guy. Now support track marker trigger suppression. Will now support track marker trigger detection. Supports multiple sets of new driver commands and track marks. Will can be fired once or several times with counter support. Rule supports also triggering only the rule for train going in the track mark direction. Okay, yeah. Hopefully we can get this to work in the future. Right now it is theoretically functional and it has worked, but I don't have an hour to sit down and stare at it to see if something happens. So for now, it's going to stay right the way it is. And we'll just zip on back to Bellington. Maybe next time we will spend some time driving trains around. Just not in a train driving kind of mood. Come hang out and drive trains tomorrow at the community playdate. We're playing Railroader. I will see you all next week. I'm going to sign off early. Good night.